which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing and remember our men and women in the armed forces and the many dangers that they're in now. And I really only have to say this person's first name, Popey. Take a moment and remember Popey. Thank you. Okay, have our village attorney here, we have our village engineer and his assistant here. Appreciate that. Village clerk. And the first item is public comment on agenda items. And I think it's a good time for me to point out that in the end, we have public comment. So, try to keep it within, getting up twice. Once now in the public comment, and only once at the end. Okay? So, public comment on agenda items. 3 minutes.
Owen,
Yes.
Ron Malpat, Hamilton resident. I'm looking at the agenda item here, appointing Elise Terhune as to the zoning board of appeals, and to me it just looks bad having people on multiple boards, village board, zoning board of appeals, especially with the comprehensive plan being updated, increased development, hopefully. It just looks bad. The perception is bad. And as Mr. Janarone, the chairman of the zoning board of appeals, stated in the January 47th comprehensive plan meeting in this room, that that boards are subject to a lot of influences, and he used even worse words than that. And it just looks like the two boards are maybe colluding on the comprehensive plan and approvals from it. And I would urge this board not to be involved and turn it over to the town board to make this decision.
Just for not to answer, it's a comment, so anyone can make comments. For myself, I'll just say that the town appointed Elise as I'm glad they appointed her as the attorney. Any other comment? If not, let's go to new business. We have bills and claims, $271,051.62. I have a motion to pay claims.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have roll call.
Trustee Guerrero?
No, I'm not going to approve claims because I don't trust the numbers and invoices.
Trustee Ramos?
Yay.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Let's see. Approve the following minutes as written. We had a special meeting on January the 17th, 2024, on local law, authorizing a tax levy. I've read the minutes that were printed. I know they're in your boxes down there. I don't know who picked up. But if I could have a motion to approve the minutes, it would be good.
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have roll call?
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Ramos?
Yay.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio?
Yes. May I have a motion to approve the regular minutes from that same date, January 17, 2024? It was a regular meeting.
So moved.
Minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Fire department had their annual reorganization where they elect officers. So I want us to approve this in the minutes and to congratulate them. Chief Eric Smith, Assistant Chief Steve Suarez, Captain John Rush, First Lieutenant Alexandria Lennon, and Second Lieutenant Jesse Marvin, and Deputy Chief Patrick Kelly. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes. Aye.
May I have roll call?
Trustee Guerrero.
Yes.
Trustee Ramos.
Yay.
Trustee DeSalvo.
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. Next on the agenda, the village clerk, along with the account clerk, Lucinda Brown, would like to attend the civil service training on Tuesday, February the 13th, 2024, at 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. in Goshen, and mileage reimbursement from Village Hall to 22 Wells Farm Road, Goshen, New York, and back be approved.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Yes. Aye.
Opposed? Next, approve budget amendment resolution fiscal year 23-24 to increase appropriation budget 8.3410.0400 fire department contractual of $782.99 and revenue code A2770 miscellaneous income for the same amount, $782.99 for fiscal year 23-24.
Motion. Second. Oh,
Got it? Let, roll call.
Trustee Guerrero.
Yes.
Trustee Ramos.
yay.
Trustee DeSalvo.
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio.
Yes, motion carries. Next, we have a letter, which is sad, resignation. Sorry to inform you all that I will be resigning from the village board effective January the 29th, 2024.
Mayor.
Yes, okay. 2024 with my job, it's crazy hours. I cannot do my job properly as the village board member. I do not want to let down the village residents for not being there and addressing their concerns. I was honored to serve the village residents during my time on the board. I have learned a lot from all of you on the board and hard-working ladies in the office. It is a hard decision for me to make, but this is the best for myself and for the village residents. Thank you all. Gary Phillips. Now, Gary was a very good board member. He was in charge of the water department, and he took it serious. And we communicated all the time. And I know his life got a little more hectic. It's funny, he retired and his life got more hectic. It's supposed to be the opposite of that, but it didn't happen this time. So we want to thank him for his time that he did spend on the board. I have a motion to accept this.
With regret. I make the motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just a
Opposed?
little
Motion
discussion.
carried.
Discussion. Okay. So this is quite a surprise. One of our trustees decided to resign kind of unexpectedly. He just retired from his job a few months ago, less than a year ago. And he's saying that he's more busy now than ever. And I will tell you, there's a lot of discord on this board, but I will tell you that Gary has always treated me respectfully, and I truly appreciate that. You know, despite our differing views, he was always kind to me, and his humor always made our interactions memorable. He's a funny guy, he always makes jokes. I really like Gary, okay? But more importantly, Gary has a conscience, okay? He would rather resign than agree with things that are wrong. So I really respect Gary for that, and I respect his decision to resign.
Okay, I'm gonna,
No,
Go ahead.
I have to make a comment with that, so. Having talked to trustee or former trustee Phillips, I'm not sure, you know, public comment or board comment time is good. It's always good to hear from the public. It's good to hear from board members too. But personal attacks, the word crook, the word steal, the word, I think I heard one tonight, collaboration, or in a negative tone or conotone, is ridiculous sometimes. It's just ridiculous. You know, people just,
Collaboration is a good word.
not in a negative tone.
wait a minute, you got the floor.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
So you make,
Crook is a bad word.
you make
You're right.
comments tonight,
Steal is a
Again,
bad word. You're right. That
you-
is a bad word.
don't let anybody talk, and I'm trying to talk
Yeah,
right
you
now.
disagree that Gary has a conscience.
You made the comment
Okay.
with things that are wrong.
What,
Mr.
Gary has a
Phillips-
conscience is wrong?
Mr.
Gary
Phil-
is a good guy is wrong?
Point of order.
Trustee
What are
Guerrero,
you
You're not
talking
gonna
about?
get it. You're not
Trustee
gonna
Guerrero,
get
Guerrero,
it.
can I
talking
speak?
about?
Am I allowed to speak?
No.
Yeah, you are speaking.
No, I'm not,
Then
you're
you're
interrupting me.
You're
I
saying
look,
nonsense.
you sit there
Go ahead,
smiling,
keep
you
going. No,
think this
Gary
is
has a
funny.
conscience, it's not a wrong thing to say.
He said,
He
you
has a
said
conscience.
with things that are wrong.
This is why you
Gary
guys.
is a good guy.
He's
That's
not
a good
resigning
thing.
because anything is wrong other
We
than his schedule
collaborate,
change.
that's a good thing.
And you are out of order,
I
as
am-
usual.
No, I'm
Out
not
of order as usual,
You are
Trustee
making
Guerrero.
wrong statements.
No.
What are you making? What are
Anyway,
you
to
saying?
the public,
What are you saying?
Mr. Phillips didn't resign because anything was wrong.
Nobody said that.
So
I
that's
just
a,
said
that's
he
a
has
lie. That's a
conscience.
lie.
You're a-
So I'm
what
gonna
are you
move
talking
on, and I'm
about?
gonna say this, that Gary Phillips, and you guys, Gary Phillips was a good
That was a
friend.
surprise.
Absolutely.
He's a
Gary
good
Phillips
guy.
is a
I
good-
love him.
Yep.
Gary
You
Phillips.
should have a conscience.
I love, oh.
You should have one.
Oh, no, sir, Mr. Influence.
You know, you should have a conscience.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
Gary Phillips is a good guy. He resigned because he was busy.
I-
But I will tell you that we had a tremendous amount of talks, not dozens, more than dozens and dozens. And he did not like what went on here.
Yes.
And it's too bad. Okay, now, let's go back to the meeting. Didn't take long to get out of order.
Yep.
I'm gonna come back to this. I just wanna get rid of this thing before I forget it. The second meeting in February is canceled, and the next meeting will be the first Monday in March. I don't know the date, March 2. First Monday in March. Okay?
So the 17th is canceled?
Yes.
Fourth.
No.
No. That means-
Village board meeting.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I'll get to that. No, that's still on. Thank you. Okay, now we have the last thing on the agenda. Consolidated zoning board appointment of Elise Trahoon as attorney for the ZBA per the recommendation of Jack Jarrone, chairman of the Consolidated Zoning Board of Appeals. And again, she's already been appointed by the town. So if this could, your wishes on this, and we'll move on.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. I have roll call.
Discussion, so what do you mean? If she's already been appointed by the town, why are we appointing
Because
her?
I guess it's a quirk in the, because it's consolidated, that's why.
It's a formality.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry,
And they really
Elise,
did.
but I agree, so the discussion is this. I agree with Mr. Malakal, okay, that there is a conflict of interest with you serving both as a village attorney and also as the attorney for the zoning board
So
for
you
the
vote no.
town.
You vote no.
So, no, I'm discussing.
Oh.
Okay, this is more. There's more. I gotta get a little bit more to say about that. I think, Elise, you have too much control over the public officials. The public here is invited in these meetings so that they can be heard, okay? But when you've been censuring them, we can see you on video. You roll your eyes when people are talking. You roll your eyes when I'm talking. You know, you censure what they say. You treat them like children, you know? You tell them to stand up, give their names, and then roll your eyes when they're speaking. I think there is something, so let me speak,
All right,
this
you
is
are.
my
I-
time,
I actually
okay?
think of sustenance
So,
or just
what I would say is that, no, I don't think you should be an attorney for both the village and for the zoning board. I think it really is a conflict of interest, and you have a lot of personal opinions which you seem to transfer out, and you have too much control, and you're not here to defend Mr. D'Onofrio or Mr. DeSalvo. You are paid by the people in front of you. Your $200 an hour is paid by these people, okay? Your six-figure salary is paid by these people. You made over $65,000 in 2022. They paid for it. You shouldn't tell them to be quiet. You shouldn't censure what they're saying. No, I don't think you should be an attorney for both.
All right, Jim?
Yeah, I'll just chime in real quick.
No, I'm looking for people to vote.
Yeah, Mr.
We
Mayor, just
we
give
already
me,
did the dog and pony show.
just give me 1 second. I don't think there is a conflict of interest, because if there was a conflict of interest, then we would say the same thing about the town's attorney on the planning board, and we don't see that. And I've never been to a meeting where somebody said that was a problem. So, with that being said, I don't see a conflict of interest for either one of those attorneys. I think it actually helps because they're more, have more knowledge on what goes on. So I vote yes.
Thank you. Jim?
Yeah, just to clarify for trustee Guerrero, who seems to have issues with numbers, and especially budget, 65,000 is not a six-figure salary.
No,
Number
that
two,
was in
Elise, don't take this the
2022.
don't take this the wrong way, but I don't need you to stick up for me, so I don't know what that comment was about. And I vote yes.
It's too bad we're down to voting and we all have to make comments, but I have to make a comment too. The first thing that you said to me, you might not remember this, I remember I was home and I had gotten reelected. And the first thing you said to me on the phone was, I work for the people of the village of Highland Falls. You probably don't remember this, that's what you said to me. That's what you said to me. So thank you for that comment, and thank you for all the guidance that you have given this board, because you have. I appreciate it very much. I vote yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. I want to give this to you when I'm done, Lene. This was just given to me at 3 o'clock this afternoon. This is an application to hold the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And George is going back to the parade and not the drive around. We started to do the drive around when COVID came, but he's back to the parade down Main Street. It's going to be on March the 2nd, 2 p.m. to 3:30. We'll raise the Irish flag. He's got a band, he's got bands and floats already. And the only thing missing, which is an important thing, is, and I told him when he gave this to me at 3 o'clock, is the insurance certificate. So he's going down to the town to get the insurance certificate. So if this could be approved pending the insurance certificate, I'd appreciate it.
I'll make the motion to approve it pending the insurance certificate.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. For the board members, if you wish to participate, which I wish you would, in FEMA's meetings in this room, every Friday they start at 10 o'clock, correct? And
Mayor, they're not always in this room, it's every other meeting, but they're on WebEx all the time.
okay, so
Friday at
WebEx,
10
you
a.m.
can join in on WebEx, and I would encourage the board to do so. This is some good news here. As we all know, individual assistance did not happen with FEMA, and a lot of folks lost a lot, especially in basements, washers, dryers, hot water tanks, other things. And FEMA did not help us in those areas. So because we were declared by the federal government a DR 4723NY, and these figures, if you're home and you're not writing them down, if you call the village hall tomorrow, the ladies down there will give you this information. But because we were declared by the federal government, you will be able to take items that you wish to claim as damaged under DR 4723NY. So I went to one tax preparer, and I called another tax preparer, and they knew about this. So I would encourage anyone that had damage in their house, outside their house, to their house, and you didn't get any assistance from the federal government and FEMA, when you do your income tax, there's going to be some forms for you to fill out that your tax preparer should have. I have the annual report here from the fire department. I'm not going to read it all. Interesting things, they had, for 2023, last year they had 263 calls. In 2022, they had 101, 99, 88. So you can see it's more than doubled the calls. They had, which was unusual compared to years ago, several structure fires, kitchen, electrical, furnaces. But they were right there. Of course, we know how much they helped during the floods. Spending a lot of time on the recruitment of members, which is a good thing. When I was in the fire department, I had 75 guys. It's down to maybe, what, 30?
I think we're just over 40, but we
Oh,
did
good,
get
good.
a
Okay.
dozen folks.
We're working on trying to come up with a way, grants, et cetera, to buy 2 new pumpers. The pumpers down there are 25 years old and 30 years. And it takes 2 to 3 years to get a pumper, so that'll put them up to 28 to 33, 34 years. That's kind of old for a fire truck, so we're working on that. I see the fire chief 2-3 times a week, which is great. I've given the task of to the police chief of researching emergency notification systems. I'm not quite happy with the one that we have. I'm on it. If there's a road closure, or there's no parking, or there's a water leak, I get the notices, but they're anywhere from 1 to 4 to 5 hours later. So that's kind of lengthy to get a notification. So we're looking at other ways to notify folks in a better and more timely way. A lot of emails, a lot of meetings about Little League. I think we have it settled now finally. Nothing changed. It's just that when they know now, the town knows what we're doing, and they agree it has to be done that way. And we're going to help them in whatever little way we can with using the softball field to play Little League. I think that's his #1 choice, correct?
Correct.
I'm glad that all got settled. Okay, this is interesting. We get a sales check 4 times a year from the county. They collect the sales tax, and then they keep most of it and give municipalities a portion. Some type of formula they have. And 3 months ago, I reported over $400,000, which was one of the higher ones, over 400. It's usually between 350 and not quite 400. Years ago, of course, it was even less. It was 2 something. Well, here's the second one in a row. We received a check for $407,181.97. So almost $408,000, and that goes towards the budget. So that's something good. A couple of meetings ago, I reported that the chargers down here across from the church in the parking lot, we put meters on there where you now have to pay to get your car charged. And we received a check for $406. It's like for about a month. We just got the second check. It's just shy of $900. It's $894. So those are nice. Those are it's money coming in, and And it's a green initiative, and it shows people are using it. I have the water report here from the company, and it's really nice with how they do it. I'll leave it up here if anyone wants to look at it. Sharon, you mentioned it before, you have the village board workshop here, 9:30 on February 17th. And then after that, within a day or two, I'll figure out the date to continue the public hearing, because we didn't close it. And hopefully another meeting or two after that, we might be able to have something. It's tough. It's tough. Everyone wants something different. Melanie?
Yes, I actually had a question before I start my liaison report. One is, since Gary's position is now open, and you're the only person who can actually appoint anybody to that position as the mayor, and none of us can actually vote on it or make recommendations on it. I do want to say that even though we as trustees can't vote on whatever it is that you decide, I suggest considering Sally Dorsch as the interim trustee. She's really proven, Sally has really proven her leadership, her community advocacy, being fair. She's very honest, she's very intelligent and organized, obviously, you know that, right? And she's consistently demonstrated that in the past year. She's lived in Highland Falls for over 20 years. So I would just recommend, if you're going to fill that position, that you fill it with somebody who has that kind of character, to fill that spot. Were you planning on filling that spot?
First of all, I would, as I've done in the past, and you can go back and look at the record, I've always filled it with people who left early, with very conscientious, very dedicated, very committed people. And I'll continue to do that, including with this next appointment. I don't know that we need an interim, because within a day or two I will be naming the person. I'm be naming the person, so that'll take care of it.
That is the interim though, right? When you appoint
It's
somebody.
an interim till the next, it's an interim till March of 2025.
So
That's
the
when Gary's term was up, anyway.
Right. So you are planning on filling the spot with an interim trustee to fill Gary's spot until the election in March of 2025.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it an interim, but if you want, that's good for you. I'll be filling the spot within a couple of days.
Okay, so there will be an interim trustee. Yeah, I would recommend Sally. She's really shown to be a community leader. Okay,
There's a lot
so
of
that's,
people.
there's a lot of people in your head?
community. No, in this community.
There's a lot of people in your head in this community. Okay,
I
I
don't say anything
recommend.
about my head, but yeah, if I'm thinking of them, sure, in my head.
Okay.
Thank you. Jesus Christ. That's funny. Okay, you have me?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
okay. So a couple of things, the Connect program. Everybody's aware of the Connect program. It's an after-school program in the Highland Falls Intermediate School. It's sponsored by the West Point Association of Graduates, and it's alive and well. It now has over 170 students participating. And again, I would remind you that what do they do? They have homework help, extracurricular activities from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock every day for students in the intermediate school. And they have actually hired teachers who help students with their homework in math, in science, in English, in social science. And every Friday, they have Friday fun activities. This Friday, what the Connect program is going to have is they're going to go to the Hudson Highlands Nature Museum to learn how to tap maple trees for maple syrup. Okay, so just really interesting things. It's a free service. the West Point Association of Graduates spent $500,000 last year for this after-school program. They anticipate spending something close to that every year, just to hire all these people for the after-school program. Also, this activity on Friday is open to all grades, and you can register your child through the website hffmconnect.org, or just get in touch with me and I'll help you register. This Wednesday also, the Connect program is sponsoring, Wednesday is February 7th. It's the National Read Aloud Day. So the Connect program is inviting all of us to actually visit the Highland Falls Intermediate School between 4 and 5 o'clock and help kids read and read for them. So you can join us there. Secondly, the Center of Highland Falls. I think everybody's aware of the Center of Highland Falls. The executive director is Ann Molina. The Center of Highland Falls Board of Directors have appointed a new program director, and it's going to be Miss Hannah Pitt of Highland Falls. She will be in charge of creating, developing, implementing the many programs and activities the Center of Highland Falls is known for. The center is going to be on its 10th year this year. It really is a wonderful community resource center for Highland Falls, for Fort Montgomery, for West Point. Ann Molina is the executive director, as I mentioned. She welcomes the help and the new ideas from young people. And I think Ms. Pitt is a great choice. Young leaders really need to step up for the community. We need more of them. Thirdly, the Town of Highlands Chamber of Commerce. There was a big write-up on them on the paper this week. The president is Dee Moreno, and she hit the ground running. For the past couple of weeks, she's been talking to businesses. She's been trying to figure out what it is that we need to do to get new businesses in here. And she's hot on recruiting them to come in and occupy this many empty spaces on Main Street. She had a meeting just last week, and another one is set for this week, Thursday, February 8th, 9 a.m. At Andy's Restaurant, and it's a meet and greet. It's informational. It's a sharing of opinions. If you guys have any ideas of how we can actually revitalize Main Street, she wants you to come. And it's also a membership drive. Dee Moreno and Sally Dorsch attended a comprehensive plan public hearing a few weeks ago, 1 week ago, okay? And they voiced their opinions on how we can bring progress and businesses to Main Street. We need it, okay? I look forward to having this board, the town board, work with the Chamber of Commerce, with Sally and with Dee, to make Highland Falls and Fort Montgomery really open for business. Lastly, the building department. They conducted 49 building permit inspections, 23 fire inspections, and they issued 24 building permits and 11 certificates of compliance.
Jimmy?
Good evening, everybody. So since our last meeting, we had a water main break right down in on Dior Park. I was down there, it was on the weekend. It was a cold night, very cold night, and our DPW was out there working on the weekend to get that fixed. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them. They did a great job. And like I said, it was cold. I was down there with them for probably 3 hours. So they always step up to the plate. And speaking of the DPW, they were down at the wastewater treatment plant. They were doing some repairs on one of the tanks, on one of the tracks there. So we had to drain the tank, and they got in there, dirty as dirty could be, that's for sure. And they put some new brackets in, welded them up, saving us a lot of money. So again, DPW's definitely working hard to help every other department out as well. So pat on the back to them for that. The furnace room equipment down there, the installation continues. They got most of the equipment in the room, they're looking to hook it up. That's gonna be using some of the gases that come from the plant to help offset costs for the furnace itself. Also, the DOT. So since the last meeting, I've had a few conversations with the Senator's office, Senator Skoufis. He actually called me, which was very nice of him. And now I have a relationship with somebody in his office, Matt. And the DOT came down to look at the hazardous condition that happens at the top of Mountain Avenue where it comes into the village. We all know that that's an issue, especially in the cold weather, because the water sheet flows across the road. So they sent the guy down, he looked at it, he gathered information, brought it back to their main office, and hopefully I should have a meeting with the higher ups on that, on site within a week or two. Just waiting for Matt to coordinate that with us. But it's a problem. There should be swales there, and when I get more information, I'll give more information on that. I just don't want to speak out of turn on what I think should be done, and what the state's going to say they will do, and what we're going to be responsible to do. So that was that. Again, Mr. Mayor, shout out to St. Patrick's Day Parade. Good to see that back. I know I've seen a big stack of stuff down at Village Hall for the 4th of July. Everybody knows that starts early, so volunteers are always welcome. And the National Outdoor Day weekend, we have our annual first fishing derby. That's in June. Again, I know it's far off, but if anybody would like to help, just contact me. It runs on a Saturday, and probably 7 in the morning until noon. Kids have a great time, and just contact me if you want to give a hand on that. Last but not least, Mr. Mayor, in the back room, there's a Highlanders Gazette, TV folks. A lot of good information in here, and a lot of stuff happens here in this room. But just a quick shout out, because Kathy's Craft has a workshop on Thursdays, and it's at 11 o'clock. To do a lot of great stuff here, and just again, thanks for people like that stepping up to the plate.
So when we talk about Kathy's Craft, and Kathy's sitting right in the back, and Kathy Jones, this is a 5-page newsletter that you do every month, and we hand it out to the club members. It's trivia stuff, there's information in there, there's a calendar for the month in there, dates that we're doing stuff, dates that we go on the trip. So thank you very much. Jimmy?
Yeah, quick monthly report for the police department for January. There's a total of 858 calls. Arrest summary is 3 misdemeanors and 2 violations for a total of 5. Summonses issued was 39 parking tickets, 15 traffic tickets, 0 summonses, so that's a total of 44. There were no meter collections in December because we had the free parking that month to promote Main Street activity. And village tickets, we were unable to get a report because there was an issue with getting some information from the town. Someone was out or there was illness or whatever. Total mileage was 4,688. Gas used was approximately 550 gallons. Spoke to some residents on Mountain Avenue about speed. Spoke to the chief, and I don't want to let anybody know, but we'll be implementing some checks in different areas of the community to keep an eye on speed in various spots, especially coming off of the main roads. Quick little budget update. We still haven't, on the FEMA side, we still haven't heard anything from the state regarding the 12.5% coverage of the 25 that we have to come up with. Again, as we move closer to election time for state representatives and they knock on your door, and if we don't have it yet by then, please remind them that we do need that 12.5%. It would help out the budget process as we continue to pay for FEMA repairs. As we move closer down the road into the budget season for the village, packets have been given to departments to start their budgetary process. try to get us some numbers, so that we can work on, and when we get in March, have some meetings, we'll go to the public, there'll be work sessions for the board, and, you know, we'll be able to present the budget to the public eventually. Again, that starts later in March. That's all I had for tonight.
Public comment.
Can I ask you something? So, is it, have you made calls or something to somebody to help the people that were, neglected by FEMA? Who are you referring to that we should try to
Yeah, you,
contact?
so, not to answer you directly, but I'll answer you directly. Just contact any state representatives. That would be your assemblyman, our senator, or the governor, any of those folks. For the state's portion, if you want to be specific in the email, the state's portion of the 25% that we have to cover. So the state can cover 12.5%. They actually can go up a little further. They can actually go up a little more, but at the bare minimum, you know, we would request at least the 12.5. They can go up to a total of. We're on the hook for 75. I'm sorry. The federal government pays us 75 cents on the dollar. The state can bring us up to 90. So they could go up to 90, and then we're only on the hook for 10 cents on every dollar, which would be fantastic budget-wise. But right now, we're on the hook for the full 25 cents per dollar. So if you contact your state representatives, Senator, 42nd Senatorial District, which is James Skoufis, 99th Assembly District, which is Chris Ekus, and the governor, even lieutenant governor if you wanted to, which we could try to get those contact emails on the website, but you can Google it, because you can get the contact information. But implore them that we need the 12.5% to cover a minimum for the FEMA coverage.
I think that would be a good thing to put in people, so people can, you know, like everybody start calling and
Maybe
email.
okay, I'll touch base with the newspaper and we'll get something in there.
Public comment?
Oh, just a question before public comment. Is this our last meeting in February?
Correct.
Okay, so the next meeting is canceled. Okay, so the next meeting is March. Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Norv Richards Jr., 107 Mountain Avenue, homeowner next to Highland Brook. So about a month and a half ago, I was curious to the construction job that was working on Mountain Avenue and Wyandotte. What was going on there at that site? Incidentally, I would say probably for the past 12 years, 80% of that wall has been down. The other 20% has been up. So I was curious of what's happening there. I seen a construction group down there working on a wall. I didn't know if it was private, what was going on, or whatever. I went down there, I spoke to a gentleman on the site of the project, and it was told to me that this is a village job that's being done here. I was curious about that this is a village job. I didn't really understand that, and I mentioned to the gentleman that said that to me that I'll have to do my own investigation on this here. So for myself and my associate that I'm with, we obtained deeds from both of those properties. I obtained a survey from both of those properties. We reviewed the deeds and the surveys of both of those properties that are there. But the thing is that we all know that FEMA has stated very, very clearly that it's 75% for municipality, 0 for homeowners such as myself and everyone else that has spent thousands of dollars. We get nothing, and that's just the way it is. And as Trustee DeSalvo mentioned, 25% will be picked up by the taxpayers. So anyway, I'm just curious that the village is working on this property. They claim that it's village property. And I'm just wondering for the board members, have you received any kind of legal document, records, or anything that states that this is village property?
I haven't.
I've seen a survey. I've seen a black and white survey.
With all due respect, I've seen surveys of my associate, but I'm asking about a legal deed, document, record, something that's stating that this property that's being worked on is the village of Howland Falls. I mean, we're surrounded by state property, federal property, and being that, for myself, seeing something like this is pretty aggravating. And from what I'm hearing now, the board has not seen a legal document or record or something that's saying that this is private, or this is village, or whatever it should be.
Can I answer that? So, when FEMA came out to do inspections, we walked the brook from top to bottom.
Okay,
At that point, they determined where there was actual issues with the walls, and
okay,
we had to prove to them, based on surveys that we collected, which were either from the town hall, going into the building department files, from the private property owners, or information that we already had in Village Hall as to who owned each of those properties. There was 9 locations that are denoted on the actual FEMA inspection report done by a FEMA inspector, that they came back to us and said, let us know if these are private or public. We provided the documentation to them. They then came back and they said, okay, we're okay with these 9 locations along the
okay, I'll
actual
go
road.
back to my first question then.
Yes.
You're saying to me that, now, that the village board here has not seen documents that state, or records, or anything legal, that this says this is Highland Falls property? It's real simple, it's yes or no.
I guess and the answer would be yes, that they might not have seen that, but
They
that
have not
information is on the site.
For me,
Todd, I
for
think you
me.
should
I'm just, it's just a simple yes or no, so the board has not seen any legal document, nothing.
I saw a survey.
A survey is not a survey, I understand, Joe, with all due respect, but for again, me and my associate, we've seen surveys, we've seen deeds and everything else, but we have not, and we've done some investigation here, we have not seen anything that states that project that's going on right now is legal Village of Highland Falls property. And also in the paper this past week, which really got me, it said that there's 9, as you stated before, approved by FEMA. Now, I'm also in touch with FEMA, also the investigation group of FEMA. And right now, I'm not sure how that could actually be in there if there's no legal documentation of land owned by the Village of Highland Falls. You can make a speculation that we're gonna work on this, we're gonna work on that, and bring that information back to you as the engineer, and say, how does this work? You say to the board, hey, we're gonna work on this here, and as a taxpayer, I'm gonna accept this? That's not gonna happen at all.
I have a question, Todd.
FEMA would not, let me just put, FEMA would not have accepted the actual DDD, there's a damage description and dimensions. They would not have accepted that, they would not have signed off on it, nor would the state, without us proving to them that the actual, with surveys, they accept surveys, because surveys are a
Right.
legal document.
Right.
A deed is a legal document, they accepted them, they actually processed the actual DDD, which is the actual project itself. It's all packaged into one project. It's 9 locations. I could show you, pull up the FEMA portal right now and show you what the 9 locations are.
I understand what you're saying.
Yep.
And I think you understand what I'm
I
saying.
do. And-
Okay, so the
Yep.
Village of Howland Falls, forget FEMA for right now. The Village of Howland Falls has no documentation of land that's owned on their brook.
I
Is
think,
that correct?
I don't think that's
Ask
what
the
he
board,
said.
don't
Wait.
ask Todd.
Wait,
Okay,
That's not
Wait,
what he
wait.
said.
wait.
if you look at a
Joe?
survey, if you look at a survey,
Yeah,
which is a legal document, the Village of Island Falls doesn't have a deed that says the road in front of Mr. DeYoung's house is a village road. There's no deed that says that. It's spelled out in a survey, so if Mr. DeYoung gets a survey, it'll show that his property is where his property is, because that's a parcel. If you have a parcel, that's a deed. That generates the deed, because usually there's something on the parcel. But if the roadway is showing on the legal stamp and survey document, which you have to have a license for, to get a survey, registered with the state, I believe, that will show where village property is, just like when we have to take a tree, well, hold on.
Go ahead.
Just like when we have to take a tree down that someone thinks is on their property and ends up being on our property. As you can see, it's shown explicitly by a deed. It's the same thing when we have to fix a sewer line, that's a lateral, we have to check by the deed. It's the same thing when we have to do a water line, we have to check based on a survey. We also look at a deed. So those type of documents are used regularly by both the town and village, county, for those type of projects. But this particular project, based upon the survey, which is a legal document, and the homeowner's deeds, which spell out what their property is, the deed spells out what the homeowner's property is. The rest of the property, you can see that it's, it's municipal. So I think for this particular project and the other locations, based upon the information that was provided and what we had in hand and given to the state and FEMA who approved the projects, that's what we're basing it on.
I understand what you're saying, and I hear what you're saying,
Well, that's,
but again, Todd, you hear what I'm saying. So you could have a survey, and I'm familiar with surveys, okay? You could have a survey, and my property line can be right here, okay? Even though that survey line is right here, on a deed, it doesn't tell you whose is this.
That's correct, but
That's correct, so that is,
But-
no, Todd, let me just finish up. That is correct. That is not proof at all that that's village property. It says what you're saying by a deed, I agree. And again, I'm very familiar with surveys, I'm very familiar with deeds. That line right there, this is Merv Livesey's. We're not sure whose this is because we have to look at a legal document. It has to be a legal document that states this is state land, this is federal land, okay? This is Village of Howland Falls land. You can't go up to the high school and say, this right here is James I. O'Neill High School, this is federal property. It's going to stay there, right there. You don't go by the survey line. Mr. DeSalvo, I understand what you're saying. It has to be noted on a document. And what I'm saying, and I know you agree with me.
I'm not agreeing with you in this regard. The New
Okay,
York State-
so there is
state
there,
FEMA-
Todd, let me just end this way so other people can come up here and talk.
Mhm.
Is there any legal documents that state that the land that you're talking about with the 9 FEMA-approved surveys, okay, for work to conduct on, have documents? Yes or no?
As far as a deed, no, there's no deed. Just
Okay,
like there's
so
no,
that's,
well, I want to answer though. You asked me a question, I want to
Go
answer.
ahead.
There's no deed to any village right-of-way at all within the village, right? So does that mean that because there's no deed for the road outside on Drew Avenue, that Drew Avenue is not the village's? There's
you're
a
going
gore, there's
down a
a,
different road now.
no, I'm not. There's a
You're
gore
lost.
gore between the property on one side of the brook and the property on the other side of the brook. And that area is actually attached to, in some regards, the village right-of-way.
That's not correct, Todd, and if you want to take this piece of property that's down there, you're an engineer, okay? That piece of property that's being worked on right now,
Mhm.
if I did a short class on surveys, no,
Well,
just hear me out, you can pick this up in a half hour, that they are clearly on private property.
All right, Merv?
That's not what FEMA.
Okay, so I know
runs.
Merv's time
You
is
should
up.
not be arguing with Todd.
Merv's time is
The
up.
question should be posed on us. No, your time is not up. It's not up. I think you have a very valid question.
As
Your
far as I
question is
know,
valid to
as
me.
far as I know, folks, as a taxpayer of this community, and somebody such as this gentleman here that has taken thousands of dollars because of this storm, hey, that's my problem. But when I see something going on like this, here's a village board, not one of these, and I'm not throwing them under the bucket or anything else like that. Not one of them has said to me that they've seen a legal document that states, this is this.
A survey is a legal document.
It's not a legal document.
It is
Todd.
certainly is.
It is a legal
It's a
document.
legal document, but it does not show proof, as you said before, who's on this side and who's on this side.
Okay,
Yes or no?
public comment.
okay.
So,
I'm gonna leave with A and I'm gonna leave with this.
so,
Not good.
so I guess what, I guess what Mr. Livesey's trying to say is, this, maybe the village has to survey all of the roads and right-of-ways, which is gonna cost us a lot of money, so we have legal documents. I don't think the village wants to go down that road.
Well, right of ways are established by statute.
So what I had,
Highway law and the village.
what I have is I have a FOIL request in, okay? And it's been sent to me, this FOIL request, no due respect, I'll have to wait till the 23rd. Either they will show me what I'm asking for, which is proof of the land, or it'll be a denial of what I requested. So I guess I'm gonna probably get a denial, or I'm gonna get something that says, here's a survey.
In a survey is legal.
And as I say, I would not be standing here right now, because my associate have looked at the survey, which a
Is your
survey,
associate
a survey, Todd, does not show who owns this site.
You are correct, but the survey alongside
Thank you for
this.
saying that I'm correct on that.
You are
That's
correct
all
on
I
that.
needed you to say,
Hold on a
thank you.
second though.
Thank you, that's
The other-
all, Todd, that's all I needed you to
Okay,
say.
Merv, let him speak.
No, all
No?
he said was, you're right, you're correct, that's all I
You
needed
should
you to
explain
say.
it.
Go ahead.
I'd like to hear the rest of the explanation.
I mean,
The answer
why
to
are
the
you
question
hiding
you're asking
behind
is,
that?
you are
should
correct, it
explain
doesn't say if the property on the other
Yeah.
side is the village. What it does though show is that there's a gore between the actual property as it stands on this direction and the other property, which is across the brook or halfway across the brook with the other private property. So in between those two, those are actual right-of-ways, and if you call the actual county and discuss it with them, they will tell you.
Well,
Where
wait a
does your property line go to the back of your property?
I know right where it is.
Okay,
But
well, where
we're
is
not
it?
talking about my property right
That-
now.
That's what the problem
We're
is.
not talking about my property, we're talking about the property that you should not be on right now, spending taxpayers' money, that's what we're talking about.
That's an opinion.
That's what we're talking about,
Okay,
okay? You should not be there, and you know
Does
that.
anyone else?
I don't know that, that's
You
not.
should be, not be there.
Okay, Mark's point is very simple. We should not be spending federal money
Right.
on properties that don't belong to
It's
us.
public
Okay.
comment, Julie.
Right.
Yeah, that's all he's saying.
I'm sorry, I'm hoping this question is going to be a lot easier.
It will.
My name is Ann Taylor, and I live on Row Avenue around Row Park. A few meetings ago, I spoke with Mayor D'Onofrio about looking at the triangle because of safety zones and the Little season coming and whatnot, and having several close calls myself. I know the town and village have had issues with their trucks there. And I know that you were looking into it, it was more difficult than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I
it's
just was
funny.
wondering where we are in
Okay,
that process.
yeah, it's a great question. You deserve that, you deserve to ask it tonight. It was a while ago. I thought it was a simple fix, like real simple, like real simple.
I know you
And
said
it ended up not. And we're at, so where is it? We're at the not. Not, I'm not saying no, we have to do something there. I never thought of your point until you said it. And sometimes you see something every day and you go, you just,
Well, the FedEx
But-
trucks and the UPS trucks stop on the corner.
yeah, it's an
People
odd,
fly this way, people fly that way.
Yeah.
I almost had a head-on the other day, people flying around. So it's just a
John-
real security concern, especially with
Yeah.
sports
you're
starting
right.
up again.
no, you're right. John, get with the chief and let's figure out something there. It's been long enough. Okay? We sat, we went over there, we went over there, and when we thought we had it, it ended up being more confusing.
And I understand that, but there's gonna be something
You got it.
serious happening, and I just would like to, just wondering where we are in the process as the spring season comes.
All
So
right.
thank you, Mayor
You're welcome.
D'Onofrio.
You're welcome. I'm glad that you brought it up. Anyone else?
Thank you.
I have a question. I noticed that the Holy Innocents Church, they have closed their shop and the rectory. What happens with them with FEMA, because it's a historical landmark, isn't it?
Well, that church, I don't know, is the word experienced a high dollar value of water damage. And they're trying to work with FEMA. Remember, we just talked about this, Todd. Is there a thing with the church and FEMA? I don't know. Is it treated like a home? You know,
I'm not sure, yeah, the thing I know is that I believe they put out an RFP to actually have engineers or architects come in to try to look at the issues that are out there. That's on Church Street, and from
Yeah.
what we've seen, a majority of that area didn't receive that much damage. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but that wasn't an area that was really hard hit.
Justin, have you been by there? Have you talked to the pastor, the minister?
I haven't heard from him, so no, but I will look into that tomorrow.
Okay.
As the treasurer of Holy Innocents Church, I will let you know that we do have our clergy, our vestry, working with FEMA on that.
Oh, okay,
We
Okay,
have
that's
damage to the rectory, to the church,
that's great,
and they're all working on that.
That's
So
great.
we've got a whole different
that's great,
department.
that's great. And listen, we meet with FEMA every Friday, as I said an hour ago. If you wanna come down here, get a hold of me, and if the minister or you, someone wants to meet with FEMA, in person, we can make that happen.
They've been working great with FEMA,
Yeah.
with New York Homeland Security, with engineers, with
I'm glad to
architects.
hear that, because
So we've been-
FEMA, Homeland Security, engineers from FEMA, a team that meets in here every Friday. And with these guys over here, a lot's getting done, thank God, thank
So
God.
we've got a lot going on. at the
Yes,
church.
we do, thank you. Okay, I'll take a
I
look.
have one more question. This is gonna be difficult, and it's not meant for have you argue amongst yourself over this. But I want to make a point that I'm not understanding why a set of people will say, hey, it's okay to have one lawyer doing two jobs and two different positions. You said there's another situation like that for
In
the
the town, yeah. in the
Okay,
town.
and, so why is there some kind of disagreement there? Shouldn't it be that the reason why they're appointed to two positions is that it's beneficial to the town or the village? And so what is the argument on both sides, so we can decide for ourselves? Because I don't understand, one person says one thing, and one person says another. So we're a community and we're trying to work this out, so can you explain to me what's so beneficial about it? And then instead of cutting somebody off, because it was Melanie that said that, that this, that the.
Well, these are opinions,
Much
isn't it?
power.
Yeah,
That's a concern, and I
think
want that clarified, I want that
just
straightened out.
sort of-
We're arguing against each other
Yeah.
about it.
My only,
Please explain that to me.
my comment would be just, my initial comment would be, as trustee Ramus had stated, that the town attorney also is the attorney for the Consolidated Planning Board. So they're used in that capacity for two different boards. It's not the same type of board, it doesn't have the same type of authority. They're actually very different. The town board is similar to the village board, they can pass statutes, they can work on master plans, they can levy taxes, they can do a whole host of things. So for the attorney to be the attorney for the town in that capacity, and the planning board, which really looks at projects and looks at economic development, it looks at commercial businesses on Main Street, or someone's changing something and building a house. So they're very different. Similar to the village board and the zoning board, very different. The village board, as I mentioned, is the town board, passes statutes, different codes, and levies taxes, and holds meetings, public meetings, similar to the zoning board. They also hold public meetings. But the zoning board doesn't pass legislation. They can't pass. They do interpretation. They do a lot of interpretation. So if your property is near your neighbor's property and you want to put a fence up, or you need to, you want to put an addition on, and you need to get a variance, which is a change in your property line, so that you can put on the addition or add something to your property that encroaches your neighbor, as long as the people around you are okay, and you go to the zoning board. So, I don't know if there's an actual conflict, like an actual conflict. Usually when someone says there's a conflict, it's dishonest, it's this, it's that, they have some kind of basis for that, not just an opinion. What a legal document is, what isn't, what we think is an impropriety. You can't have thought and bias involved in it. You have to actually here's a document that says a village attorney should not be a zoning board attorney, and it says by the Attorney General of the state of New York. Just like if, you have to live in the town of Highlands to be on the town board. You have to live in the village to be on the village board. You can't not be in the village and be on the village board. That would be inappropriate and wrong. So, I think sometimes it gets opinion, and we all get passionate up here, and I understand that, but I don't know if there's any statute, any law, any, what do they, sometimes the Attorney General will give an opinion. I don't think there's any legal opinion on it. That's,
I gave my opinion, so.
Yes.
Alina Olivia, village resident. I would like to give a little recognition to Justin and John are both here tonight. I've worked with them quite a bit since the flood this summer, and they both are very responsive, and I'm very
These two guys?
appreciative.
Yeah.
Justin and John Jones?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're both very responsive, and I am very appreciative to what they are contributing to the community. And before I begin my comments, I would like to read from this last week's paper, just a short clip. It says Saturday morning's village board public hearing started out much like many village board meetings have in recent years, with bickering and back and forth commentary between board members and the audience. So I would like to bring attention again tonight to the lack of professionalism displayed by this board. I stated at the last meeting that you are argumentative and disrespectful, and you came through with the same behavior at the comprehensive meeting this last Saturday. This behavior is so regular that it was caught on display for the newspaper. Mr. Ramus, with your head in your hands as a village resident, speaks at a public hearing. It's not the first time, and you're not the only one. Need you be reminded, your job is to listen to the public, represent the public, and follow through and do what's right for our community as a whole. And instead, you all sit up here like a posse of mean girls and do whatever you want regardless of public input. I don't mean to sound harsh, but you proved exactly that at the last village board meeting with the tax vote, with the vote on the tax cap. Half of the audience spoke up against it, and Trustee Ferrero voted no, and you three override because majority rules and only the popular kids get to sit at the table. All the while, it's our historical little village here that suffers. We are 1 square mile, and somehow we're in the state of having garbage cans left on our sidewalks all week long, repetitive parking violations, cars that drive around blasting music that never get pulled over, empty storefronts, overgrown and unkept houses, multi-million-dollar investment groups that can't even get to the starting point of a project. I mean, when are we going to stop doing things like hiring a third-party company to work our water plant at a higher cost to taxpayers instead of utilizing the employee that we paid to go get the license that we needed to operate the plant? It was said a few meetings ago that John Jones was fixing a leak by himself. How does that happen? No one should be on a job site alone. Just shouldn't happen. We have, I think it was said, 13 police officers for the village, and somehow still a few weeks ago I had called about something and was told that we only have 1 officer on duty. 1. Why? I don't know. But when are we actually going to start solving some of these issues and stop bickering? For goodness sake, the 5 of you, 4 at the moment, 5 again soon, you are all in charge of all of these things. And I think that if you are incapable of being respectful and successfully managing and operating a 1 square mile village, then maybe you shouldn't be in that seat.
Joe, quick comment?
Yeah.
I applaud that Mr. Olivia's comments. And I just want to say that the public makes good suggestions sometimes. And you mentioned today that we had the EV charger revenue of $894. And that's all because of Olga Anderson, who unfortunately is not here tonight, standing up and saying, I have an EV company that wants to put in chargers and you're going to make money off of it. Well, okay, yeah, it happened. I mean, you didn't like the company that she proposed, you changed it to another one, and we're getting revenue from it. Please
I don't
listen.
think that.
That's not
No, that's exactly,
That's
that's
what
exactly,
happens.
that is exactly.
It's okay, it's a minor thing, but that's not how it went down.
That's exactly,
That's not-
but all
that's
this
okay.
I
All right,
that's all
that's
this
okay.
I think it was her who mentioned it, but
Wait,
let
wait.
me just continue, hold on,
It was
hold on.
all this
Listen, I want a
that's-
short comment
no.
here.
I'm gonna give it to you, I'm gonna give it to
And
you.
the thing is that.
Mr. Malachi, I'm gonna give it to you.
Thanks for telling us, thanks for
I
telling
would
us.
like, I would like,
See?
You're the one who interrupted. You interrupted.
May I have a motion to
You
adjourn?
interrupted.
So moved.
May I have a motion to
Not
adjourn?
finished speaking.
May I have a motion to adjourn?
He hasn't finished speaking.
Second.
He hasn't done every meeting, why are you adjourning, Mayor?
This is the
Well, I'm
public.
sorry.
He was not done talking, why
Well,
are you adjourning the meeting?
Is this what you want? Do you want
I would
this?
like to hear Mr. Malcolm.
Or do you want this?
Everybody on the
What
board
you just
just
said?
I would like to hear
Are you
Mr.
not answering?
Malcolm.
Okay.
That's what I
Well,
would
can you
like.
please tell
I would
us?
like to, I'd like to propose that the village board,
She won't.
No, it was trustee Guerrero.
I'd like the village board to consider in your comprehensive plan, doing something about Airbnbs in the village and finding a way to get some tax revenue from all of these rental properties.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Ron.
Doesn't make any sense.
I have a room tax that's been authorized from Albany for us to impose on motels. 5%. It'll bring in money.
That's different
the-
from Airbnb.
Excuse me
Yes.
very much.
That's not Airbnb.
Not your Airbnb.
I
but-
don't have
She
one.
doesn't own one.
Yeah, I don't have one.
Well, Ron, we're looking at the
She doesn't own a
Airbnbs to
private
see
dwelling
if
either.
they can be included in the occupancy tax.
The occupancy
That's what they're
tax
calling it.
hurts businesses.
Now, the other thing is this,
No, it doesn't.
the Airbnbs, especially at the north end where you live and where I live, it's tight, the parking is bad. The parking was bad before the Airbnbs. Now you have Airbnbs and you have a lot more cars. That's the only issue that I know of with bed and breakfasts. It's the only one I know of. I don't know how we can solve it. But,
Make the owners solve it.
yeah, off-street parking, I guess. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Had it already.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much.